Once upon a time, there was a beautiful kingdom with a magnificent castle. In this castle lived a king who had several daughters, but the youngest princess was the most beautiful of them all. She was so lovely that even the sun itself seemed to shine brighter when it looked upon her face. Now, this young princess had a favorite toy that she treasured above all others, a golden ball. It was perfectly round and shiny, and it sparkled like the sun. The princess loved to play with her golden ball more than anything else in the world. Near the castle, there was a deep, dark forest, and in this forest, beneath the shade of an old lime tree, there was a cool well with crystal clear water. On hot summer days, the princess would often come to this peaceful spot to play. One particularly warm afternoon, the princess sat by the well, tossing her golden ball high into the air and catching it again. Higher and higher she threw it, watching it sparkle in the sunlight. Whee! She laughed as she tossed it up once more. But this time, she threw it too high. The ball fell down, 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 and missed her hands. It bounced once on the ground, rolled across the grass, and splash! It fell right into the deep well. "Oh no!" cried the princess, rushing to the edge of the well. She looked down into the dark water, but the well was so deep that she couldn't see the bottom. Her precious golden ball was gone. The princess began to cry. She cried louder and louder, sobbing as if her heart would break. "My beautiful golden ball! It's gone forever! I'll never see it again!" Suddenly, a voice spoke from the well. "What's wrong, princess? Why are you crying so loudly? Your tears could melt a stone's heart." "Who said that?" The princess stopped crying and looked around. "Down here," said the voice. The princess looked down and saw a frog. He was sitting on the edge of the well, his big eyes staring up at her. His green skin was wet and shiny. "Oh, it's just you, you ugly old frog," said the princess, not very politely. "I'm crying because my golden ball has fallen into the well." "Don't cry," said the frog. "I can help you. I can dive down and bring your ball back. But what will you give me if I do?" "Oh, I'll give you anything," the princess said eagerly. "My pearls, my jewels, my pretty dresses, even the golden crown I wear." "I don't want your pearls or jewels or dresses or crown. But if you promise to be my friend, let me sit beside you at your table, eat from your golden plate, drink from your golden cup, and sleep in your bed. If you promise all this, then I will bring back your golden ball." "Yes, yes, of course," the princess said quickly, thinking to herself, "What a silly frog. He lives in the well with the other frogs and cannot possibly come to the castle. I'll say anything to get my ball back." "Do you promise?" the frog asked seriously. "I promise," the princess said. As soon as the princess made her promise, the frog dove into the deep well. Down, down, down he swam into the dark water. A few moments later, he came back up with the golden ball in his mouth. He tossed it onto the grass beside the well. "My golden ball!" the princess cried with joy. She snatched it up, completely forgetting about the frog. "Wait!" called the frog. "Take me with you. I can't run as fast as you can." But the princess didn't listen. She ran back to the castle as fast as she could, laughing and playing with her ball, leaving the poor frog behind. "Wait for me! You promised!" the frog called after her, but she was already gone. The frog hopped back down to his well, feeling very sad and disappointed. The next evening, the princess was sitting at the royal dinner table with the king and her sisters. They were eating from their golden plates when suddenly they heard a strange sound on the marble stairs outside the dining hall. Splish, splash, splish, splash. Something was climbing up the stairs. Then came a knock at the door. Knock, knock, knock. And a voice called out, "Princess, youngest princess, open the door for me." Curious and commanding, the princess got up to see who it was. When she opened the door and saw the frog sitting there, she quickly slammed it shut and ran back to the table. Her face had turned pale. "My dear child," the king said, noticing her fear. "What's wrong? Is there a giant at the door coming to take you away?" "No, father, it's not a giant. It's just a disgusting frog." "A frog? What does a frog want with you?" So the princess had to tell her father the whole story. How she had dropped her golden ball in the well, how the frog had retrieved it for her, and how she had promised to be her friend but had run away instead. The king listened carefully, and when she finished, his face became very serious. "My daughter," he said solemnly, "a promise is a promise. When we give our word, we must keep it, no matter what. You must let the frog in and honor your promise." "But father," the princess began to protest. "No buts," the king said firmly. "You made a promise. Now you must keep it." Reluctantly, the princess opened the door. The frog hopped in, splish, splash, splish, splash, across the marble floor. "Please lift me up to sit beside you," said the frog. She didn't want to, but her father was watching with a stern look. She carefully picked up the wet, cold frog and placed him on the chair next to hers. "Now please put me on the table," said the frog. Again, she didn't want to, but the king was watching. She placed the frog on the table. "Now, please push your golden plate closer so we can eat together," said the frog. The princess did as she asked, though she made a face and could barely eat a bite. But the frog, however, enjoyed every morsel. "That was delicious," said the frog, smacking his lips. "Now I'm tired. Please carry me to your room and let me sleep in your bed as you promised." At this, the princess began to cry. "Father, do I really have to let this cold, wet frog sleep in my beautiful, clean bed?" "Yes," the king said firmly. "The frog helped you when you were in trouble. It is wrong to despise him now. A promise is sacred." The princess was very angry now. She picked up the frog just with 2 fingers, carried him upstairs, and placed him in the corner of her bedroom. But when she got into her bed, the frog hopped over and said, "I'm tired too. I want to sleep in a comfortable bed just like you. Lift me up, or I'll tell your father." This made the princess so angry that she picked up the frog and, with all her might, threw him against the wall. "Now you'll be quiet, you horrible frog," she shouted. But as the frog hit the wall, the most amazing thing happened. Instead of falling to the floor, there was a flash of golden light, and where the frog had been, there now stood a handsome young prince with kind eyes and a gentle smile. "A prince!" the princess gasped, her eyes wide with astonishment. "Thank you, princess," the prince said, bowing to her. "You have broken the spell that was cast on me." "A spell?" the princess whispered. "Yes," the prince explained. "A wicked witch turned me into a frog many years ago. She said I would remain a frog forever, unless a princess would let me eat from her plate, drink from her cup, and sleep in her bed for 3 nights. But your anger broke the spell even sooner." He continued, "I know I disgusted you as a frog. I'm sorry for that. But you kept your promise, even though it was hard. That shows you have a good heart even when you're tested." The princess felt ashamed of how rudely she had treated the frog, who really was this kind prince all along. "I'm so sorry," she said sincerely. "I should have been kinder to you. I should have kept my promise willingly, not just because my father made me. Please forgive me." "Of course I forgive you," smiled the prince. "And you did keep your promise in the end. That's what matters." The prince and the princess talked late into the night. She discovered that he was not only handsome, but also kind, brave, and wise. And the prince found that beneath her initial rudeness, the princess had a good and honest heart. The next morning, the king was delighted to meet the prince and hear the whole story. "This calls for a celebration," declared the king. And they celebrated. The whole kingdom rejoiced that the prince had been freed from the wicked spell. As the princess and prince spent more time together, they fell deeply in love. It wasn't long before the prince asked the princess to marry him. "Yes," said the princess happily, "I would be honored to be your wife." They were married in a grand ceremony, and everyone agreed they had never seen a happier couple. The princess had learned an important lesson about keeping promises and treating everyone with kindness, no matter how they look. On their wedding day, a magnificent carriage arrived pulled by 8 white horses with golden harnesses and white ostrich plumes. The prince's faithful servant, Henry, had come to take them to the prince's kingdom. Henry had been so sad when his master was turned into a frog that he had 3 iron bands placed around his heart to keep it from breaking with grief. Now he was so happy that the iron bands burst off, crack, 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 one by one, because his heart was filled with joy. And so the prince and princess rode away in the beautiful carriage to the prince's kingdom, where they ruled with wisdom and kindness. The princess never forgot the lesson she had learned, and she always treated everyone, whether they were princes or frogs, with respect and kindness. And they lived happily ever after. The end. Thank you, everyone. This is the bedtime story of The Frog Prince, narrated by Niya Bedtime Stories Studio. Subscribe to our channel for more lovely and wonderful bedtime stories. Good night.